Alright, I got this this guitar ready to go. I decided I am going to basically straighten out the or flatten the fretboard, and then I'll string it up in the white after I fret it, and we'll see how it sounds, and then I'll do the finishing process on it. So basically I jigged it up in that fret jig, the Erlewine fret jig. And if you want to see more details on that, I did that video on that Gibson that I did some fret work on. But anyway, right now we're going to do the board, and I've got the board as straight as I can get it. I've got just very little tension on the truss rod. That's straight there, but what I found, you know, if I take the straight edge here, I would say from the 12th fret on down, the board is flat. You can't see any light there. It's very true. But if we come down to the tongue here and we look at it, you can see there's some light there. So what that's showing me is that this part of the board, it's almost already got a hump. And right now I've just got the neck installed with the bolts, but this is, the tongue is down to the body. I checked it, but this will work anyway. What that means, we're going to take more material off of this and to help flatten it out, and that'll actually give us some fallaway, what's called fallaway in the board, and that helps the action of the guitar. It's good to have some fallaway because then you don't get buzzing on the upper frets here. So I'm actually going to remove some material here first, and then kind of straighten the board with some 80 grit, just a rough flattening or a truing. It's more a truing because it will be radiused. And then I've got the aluminum beam over here with 120 grit on it, and I'll use that to kind of fine tune it. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is take down the tongue over the fretboard extension here, because I know it is high. So just going to use a little bit of 80 grit here on a 16-inch radius block, and just kind of work it down and keep checking it with this straight edge and see how I'm progressing. Before I started sanding, I set the gauges to 0, and then I raise these support rods here, and they just hold the neck straight. Keep everything true while you're sanding. I haven't taken off too much, as you can see here, but it didn't take much. If I put this straight edge on now, it looks pretty good. It's pretty flat. So that little hump that was down at the tongue end here, I've got rid of that. So that's enough of the 80 grit. Now I'm going to clean up the board here, and we're going to go to the 120. Alright, next up I'm going to use the 120 grit paper on this 16-inch aluminum radius sanding block. And this is a lot, I trust this a lot more than the wooden block, but that was just kind of roughing with the 80, so we'll mark up the fretboard here with this pencil. And then we'll flatten it or true it up with the 120 here. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. You can see we're hitting back here and up front, so it means that the fretboard's actually got a twist to it, and we haven't started touching in the middle yet. Let me just double check that with the straight edge, because it looked pretty straight to me. Yeah, there's actually some dips. The fretboard kind of dips here. It's got two almost like hills and valleys, so that's one of the reasons that you want to true up the board. So I'm going to work on this for a little while. Okay, it's coming along. I've been working with the 120 for a while, and I've still got some marks here in the middle. At this point I'm trying to not push down too hard. I've got those rods underneath supporting the neck, but I can actually see the gauges deflect if I push really hard. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep the neck true and straight. Kind of let the weight of the beam do the work. And every once in a while, just flip it around. And again, I'll just keep going until I get these marks off here. It's getting there. Well, you can't see too much of the white grease pencil, but it's still here. You can there's like low spots. There's a little here, a little here, a little here, and I don't know if the camera picks it up that much, but you can see it with the naked eye when you look at it, where there's just a few low spots that still have to be done. So I'm going to continue going with that 120, and then we'll go to 220 and finish up with the 320 paper. Okay, the fretboard's just about trued up here. We started with 80 grit paper, did the whole board, and then I went down to 120 and did the whole board again, and then I started putting wrapping some paper on the block here and just concentrated on the back here to start giving it some fallaway. And from 120 I went 320, I'm sorry, 220, and now I'm on 320, and I've done the whole board with 320, so I'm just gonna do the fallaway here. So again, this is the 320 paper. This is the last step, and as I said, I've just taken some craft paper and wrapped it around 3 times. And basically by putting it on here, just going like this, there, that just gives us more pressure on the tongue with the extension, and that'll be lower than the rest of the fingerboard, and they call that fallaway. And the reason you want that is that you don't want the strings buzzing, because a lot of times the tongue tends to lift or rise. And then you'll get the strings will buzz on the frets that are right over the guitar body. And if you put fallaway in there, you won't get that. It doesn't take a lot. I'll show you here with a straight edge in a minute. But I just want everything to be consistent as far as the grit of the paper. Alright, we'll see if we can pick this up on camera here. This straight edge is right now, it's running between like the 1st fret and the 12th fret. And if we go in very, very close, you'll see that there's no gaps. It's completely, the board is straight. So if we slide this straight edge down from the 12th fret towards the tongue, now, I don't know, can you see that? There's a little bit of light coming through at the end. I don't know if this is picking it up, but there's definitely a little bit. There, you can see that there. See, that's your fallaway. It's not much. It's maybe 10 thousandths, 15, probably closer to 10. Alright, as I said, the board is pretty well done. We've got it trued up, 16-inch radius. We've got the fallaway. And last thing I'm going to do, I've got some extra fine 3M pads here instead of they're the synthetic steel wool. And I'm just going to clean up the board here a little bit. Alright, it looks good. So that's it. The board is trued up. The next step will be fretting it. And I've got some fret wire here in my fret block, so that'll be the next video. We'll start fretting up the board.